Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we talk about all things fandom on this channel. We talk about it in a positive way. If that's something that appeals to you, you know you've come to the right place. And today is Terrifying Tuesday, where we talk about all things horror. But there's something else. This is the last Terrifying Tuesday before Easter. That means we're going to break down 5 Easter-themed horror movies you could watch this year. So let's jump right into it. So if you're like me, you like a good non-traditional holiday movie, and with Easter, those are far and few between. But thanks in part to Tubi, where all of the movies we're going to talk about today are available to watch, we have 5 very non-traditional horror-themed Easter movies to break down. So, coming up first on our list, of course, is Ted Bundy. Now, Ted Bundy is a 2026 horror movie. It is by Michael Fredanelli. And I'm sorry if I mispronounced his name. It was written by Mara Lynn Adams and Michael Fredanelli. It stars Diana Roman, Brad Satterwhite, and the legendary Dee Wallace. And this is what it's about. Filmmaker Sasha finds this lady, Catherine, who claims that she was a victim of Ted Bundy. Only she survived. And now at Catherine's remote farmhouse, Sasha's crew uncovers very horrific secrets. Now, this movie is very much what you get. It doesn't really give you a whole lot in terms of, oh, this is going to shock you. You pretty much gather just by the poster what you're getting into here. And it doesn't really surprise you too much. Now, what it does do is it presents this kind of slasher movie that is maybe something you haven't seen before. It's a bit different and it is gory enough. So you could do worse than to watch this one this year. It is also the newest one on our list, like I said. So definitely check it out. Now, the next movie we're going to talk about on this list today has a title that's very similar to the franchise of movies that we're going to talk about after that. And that is The Bunny Man from 2021. Now, The Bunny Man is directed by Bobby McGrunther and written by Bobby McGrunther. It stars Bobby McGrunther, Carrie Costa, and this movie is about a former sheriff's deputy who hunts down this serial killer wearing a bunny suit known as the Bunny Man. Now, this also kind of plays into that urban legend that was around in, I guess, the 70s or so, the Bunny Man urban legend. If you're not sure what it is, the Bunny Man is a Northern Virginia urban legend about a figure in a bunny suit that haunts a railroad overpass in Fairfax County, Bunny Man Bridge. He is often armed with an axe, targeting trespassers or teens. It's rooted in 2 1970 reports of a man in a costume threatening people with a hatchet. Now, that's where this movie is sort of based, kind of, but it doesn't necessarily take place there. It plays into this sort of serial killer vibe, and he just happens to be wearing this bunny suit. It does sort of try its best. I will give it that. And the movie isn't too bad. The acting is somewhat okay. It knows it's a lower budget movie, and it's not trying to act like anything other than a run-of-the-mill slasher movie, and that's not a bad thing here. So you could do worse than to watch this movie. So in keeping up with the Bunny Man urban legend type of thing, the next movies are in that vein as well. It's actually a trilogy of movies that we're going to talk about next, thus the 5 movies I promised. So coming in next is, of course, Bunny Man from 2011. This is directed by Carl Lindbergh, written by Carl Lindbergh, starring Cheryl Teixeira, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced her name, and Matthew Stiller. And it's about a group of teens that are shockingly chased by a man in a bunny suit. The difference here is that it sort of plays also into this vibe of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's kind of the vibe you get from this movie. And it is sort of playing into that. I could see where people would get that idea. So this one's not too bad. It's very different from what you would expect from a slasher film. Maybe not so during Easter, because a lot of the slasher films for Easter are men in bunny suits. But that brings us to its sequel. And its sequel was Bunny Man 2, also known as Bunny Man Resurrection, and the Bunny Man Massacre is also sometimes used for it. But this is also something that you might see used for the first film. It is a 2014 slasher film written by Carl Lindbergh again, and it is a sequel to the 2011 one by the same director, as I said. And this one is not only directed by him once again, but it's written by him once again as well. And it stars David Scott, Joshua Lane, and Julianne Dowler. The bodies are piling up. This sort of continues on with that legend of the Bunny Man. So in this movie, he has a partner, and that's not too bad. It does lean more into that whole Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibe, like I said before. This is very much the comparisons that I heard made before I saw this film, and I can see this trilogy of films sort of following that path. And you could do a lot worse than this one, especially if you do watch Bunny Man and you rather enjoy it. If you watch it and you rather enjoy it, then you definitely owe it to yourself to check this one out as well. That brings us to the final film we're going to talk about today, and that is Bunny Man Vengeance. Now, Bunny Man Vengeance is a 2017 film, and it is the last in this trilogy of films. And it once more is directed by Carl Lindbergh, written by Carl Lindbergh, and this time it stars Diana Prince, Debbie Gerber, and Omari Washington. Now, the film follows the adventures of the Bunny Man as he continues to rack up a body count, and this one is more of the same. It really is. This one kind of has a little bit different of a vibe to it. They all try to be different in their own way, and I give them credit for that. But overall, it's still following the Bunny Man slasher and just his misadventures in slashing people up for no apparent reason. But isn't that what a good slasher film does? So you could do worse than to watch this one if you are looking for that's something different and you enjoy the first 2 films. Now, these are our 5 films that you could watch this Easter that are not your traditional Easter films, all horror themed. And don't shoot the messenger. If you don't like these films, that's fine. There's no wrong answer. I do want to hear from you though, if you have seen these movies, or if there's any movies that you think I should have put on this list that I didn't put on here. I want to hear them, and if I haven't seen them, I'll check them out. And if I have, who knows, we might have a conversation about those movies as well. But whatever your thoughts are, make sure you leave me that comment in the comment box. Make sure you share this video with all of your friends so that they can be a part of our conversation as well. Then, if you like that positive content, you're going to want to let the algorithm know by hitting that like button. It can't hurt. It can only help. And then, if you like our channel personally, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And then, hit that notification bell right next to it, so you never miss a single video we do, because friends, we have so much to talk about and so many fandoms to get into, so many great things that we get to do on this channel, and you don't want to miss a moment of it. Because friends, at the end of the day, I know it and you know it. Fandom is family.